it gets good and when it feels good to both of you. If you're straining as a giver, we have to change that. If you can't kneel, I would sit like this. Can you sit like this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then you'll just scoot in as high up as you can get. There you go. So that you can still work on legs. And remember how we worked that inner leg line, but we also got to a point after we used our hands where we slid under their leg? Then you might want to move to that. Your lower body will open up more over time as you do this. You'll gain more awareness of like legs and feet and hips. But when I do this sort of like rocking, so for me right now, like this right hip's kind of tight. When I lean forward, it's almost like pigeon pose. Like I'm gently rocking into this hip trying to, because I'm leaning, I'm still working on you, but I'm leaning in and kind of
Stretching your own self.
and then I go, okay, yeah. Then I need to switch to the other side. And I'm like, yeah, so this side's a little more tight still. And I'll lean more into that. Make sense? Yeah.
It's a 2-for-1.
If you're marketing it to yoga teachers, yoga students, yoga aficionados, lazy yoga is a good term. But who you're marketing it to changes, like how you package it, sell it, mention it, reference it. Primarily you're going over the line, but if you go off road, I'm not going to stop you. The line is right on the inside of the leg, so inside of the tibia, and then cuts the leg in half from the side. It's basically right up the adductors. I'll usually go about 3/4 of the way up the thigh and then out again. Say it again? Ooh, you've never pressed on an artery, right? Nah. Nah, you're fine. Nah, you're fine. You're not delivering enough pressure from this like position to do any damage or anything. Somebody's going to tell you, ow, long before you'd hurt somebody. From that angle, at least. And often you don't have to, use very much pressure. Yeah. Most of what people learn in massage school, where it's contraindications, most of those in my experience are a caution. Once you develop enough skill, you do enough research, you communicate with the client. Like, do you ever go up into people's armpits?
Sometimes. I do a lot of injury rehabilitation, so I do a lot of pectoral breaking.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you're in school, do they teach you to go up into the armpit?
Nope. No. They tell us to avoid it.
Yeah, it's generally contraindicated, but it's a caution once you do enough research and say somebody comes in, that happens to students fairly frequently. Because massage therapists use their arms to stabilize, they'll have a problem with coracobrachialis. It's right up in the armpit. And I'll go in and work on that, and they're like, is this safe? And I'm like, yes. So one layer is that inner leg line, the sun lines. The other layer is you're working the gastrocs along the tibia. You're working the adductors. But because of the leg position, you're probably getting more into her quads, right? Yeah. And the thing is, it's natural for you to want to feel around. What you wind up doing when you study with me is you're going to overlap lines and anatomy. But then it's like trigger points. And then it's cutaneous and subcutaneous nerves. And you're just adding layers. 9 times out of 10, what happens is I'm working soft tissue. I notice, whoa, something feels like real dense and restricted here. It's not moving. It feels tight. And I'll use the appropriate tool, lean in slowly, get them to breathe, and then try to free that up. Does that make sense? Yeah. The lines are just like a simple map from Thailand. The musculoskeletal anatomy is a simple map from, the West. But to me, they're overlapping. They're basically the same thing. If you have a Chinese medical background and you've done shiatsu or acupuncture training or anything like that, you could easily take the same basic ideas in bodywork and blend like 5-element theory into it if you wanted. Yeah.